This is a simple, brief orientation to the D2L site that is related to CISA 305 for the summer online course. So this is D2L, and when you log in, you're going to have my contact information on the left. And this is where I'll normally put an announcement at least once a week, but often I'll email too. So this is your welcome screen. I'm going to go in order from left to right and draw your attention to some key information. First thing is the content area. In the content area, the information you have here is divided up into categories, and this will continue to expand as the course grows. This is your course syllabus. This is the SimNet website, which you're required to use for a lot of your work. It is the online learning center for the textbooks, which will have the place where you can get access to your data files, as well as you'll be taking a quiz each week from this particular website and emailing it to my lab assistant. This is the electronic version of the textbook is available. So if you prefer an online copy of the textbook, and it is less expensive, this is the link. And this is the agenda that I referred to in that our orientation agenda and what we covered or will cover at orientation. Then it will have my lessons. My lessons and lectures I'll save in PDF format and post. Right now what I'm thinking about doing is actually recording them and making them YouTube connections to make it a little easier for students access. And these are the data files. So I've already put up here all the data files you need for lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. Notice they're zipped. So once you download those to your USB where you can have access to them, again, make sure you unzip them. So this is the table of contents area and of the content area, and this will continue again to grow. Dropboxes are where you're going to submit some of your work. You will submit a lot of your work if you are not currently what's called a grader member of SimNet. And I talk about that at orientation. One of the things when you purchase your SimNet membership, you should be purchasing the grader feature. And if you have that, it will grade, and I also have it triggered so you can correct your work online. It is a little bit more expensive, and I know some students can't afford it. So if they can't afford the grader feature, I still need them to get SimNet to have access to the lessons. But these are drop boxes I've created to also drop your work. The skills review must be dropped in here. The lessons applications and the unit applications can both be done within the SimNet environment. Every week there will be a discussion topic. This week's discussion topic is here for you. Make sure you complete that. Quizzes are located here. I have the Chapter 1 quiz ready to go. Chapter 2 and 3 will show up. These aren't really the quizzes. These are what are called concepts review. In the back of your chapter, you're going to find the concepts review section. This is where you're going to put the answers to those concept reviews. This is the syllabus quiz based on the syllabi that you're going to want to review and complete before the 8th. Notice how everything will have the start date and the end date. Your colleagues in your class can be found in the class list. And here you go. Here's our class list and all our contacts. Be very careful on how you use this, and if you want to contact a student and you have, you're sharing notes, that's wonderful. Don't send a global message to all students without clearing it from me first. In here you also have your grade section, and in the grade section that's going to reflect each one of the categories and the grades and the breakdown. The percentages and the weighting is equivalent to what is reflected in the syllabi. I also have this, so as I add assignments, if an assignment is not graded, it is a 0, so you always kind of know where you stand. The last and most important thing is the checklist. Do not be overwhelmed, but this checklist will have a checklist every week. So for example, this week, your goals were, but not limited to, attending orientation, purchasing the text, registering your SimNet. the syllabus quiz, discussion posting, download the data files, and then I put where those can be located. You're working on lessons 1 through 3 this week, also known as Unit 1. And as I'll say in orientation, you're looking at between 8 to 10 hours of work every week for this course, realistically, depending on your experience. If you're more familiar with Word, not as much, but I'm assuming people don't have experience. And so if this is your first exposure, there's quite a few steps. And I've put these in order. Once you listen to the lectures or see the lectures, and that's as you read the lesson. So you'd read lesson one, kind of work through it, look at the lecture, maybe be looking at the lecture the same time as you're looking through the book. There's some helpful step-by-step tutorials in the book. Then complete the concepts review. In SimNet, I also have some lessons that you must complete, and it's lessons 1 through 3 for this week. Then there's the skills review, which is in your book, and those instructions are there. And for lesson 1, I want you to do 125. This is not 1 through 25, it's number 125. For lesson 2, it's number 216, and for lesson 3, it'll be 314. For the lesson applications, these can be found in your textbook as well as you can do them within the SimNet environment. If you do not have the sim grader, again, you'll need to put them in the Dropbox to be graded. But in lesson 1, you'll be doing 1-29, 1-32. In lesson 2, you'll be doing 2-21, 2-23. In lesson 3, you'll be doing 3-18 and 3-20. Each one is worth 25 points. So this entire thing is really 150 points. As you can see, I need to correct that. I don't know why I put 15 points. Probably because as of right now it's 12:58 a.m. Okay, Unit 1. At the end of it, there's going to be an applications that I need you to do, and this is kind of a compilation of the skills you learned in lessons 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3. And once again, you can do it in the graded environment of SimNet, or you can use your book, just do it, and put it in the Dropbox. There's also a unit exam, and you must be in SimNet to do that exam. And it's very similar to the lessons. As you work through this checklist, and this is a living document because I'll always be changing things, for example, correcting my typo there. And this is a living document. So if you have done something, then you'd simply mark it off. I can't see what you've marked off. This is for you. But at any point in time, I may be manipulating and changing it, but your check marks will stay there. If you check something off, make sure you say save so that next time you log in, you know what you've done. Now, I know this goes without saying, but I've compiled lessons 1, 2, and 3, but always complete lesson 1 and everything associated with lesson 1 before you go on to lesson 2, etc. So this is D2L. I will be adding the chat environment down the road for this class, but I don't have it as of now. So week 1 checklist, start there. Don't hesitate if you have questions about anything. Most importantly, get your book, look over the syllabi, and look at that orientation memo. If you feel it will be helpful for you if I do a similar review for you here, just like I did at orientation, please give me a call or send me an email, let me know, and I will absolutely do that for you. Okay? I am excited to have you in the class, and we're going to have a great 8 weeks. All right. Have a great evening. Good night.